Hello, my name is Pablo Riza. I'm in 10th grade at Cypress Bay High School, and today I'm here to answer the question, to what extent are conservational laws a solution to water scarcity? The problems of water scarcity have interrupted humanity's advancements for many years, affecting millions of people worldwide. Water scarcity refers to the volumetric abundance, or lack thereof, of water, according to Peter Schultz of the Pacific Institute, meaning that water scarcity isn't as simple as not having enough water. As the Brookings Institute suggests, even when the population hits 10 billion, we could easily provide food for the world, and therefore water as well, theoretically. The study is correct in saying that there is a sufficient supply for the world, but what is not considered is the unequal distribution of water across the globe. The inequality affects people in their home, and while it facilitates life for some, it complicates it for others. Therefore, water scarcity is the imbalance of water that requires efficient distribution. My team member, Catalina Real Escobar, will focus on a water filtration solution in the medical, economic, and environmental lens. Laura Neumeier is on the topic of desalination. She will investigate through the environmental, technological, and economic lens. Lastly, Alyssa Ware's solution will be looking at the use of xeriscaping in the environment, social, and economic lens. However, in reality, the use of conservational laws is the best option for the world to go. The biggest problem with filtration and desalination is the cost and excessive energy use. Alyssa's solution could also be possible since there is a demand for xeriscaping, but the demand is not significant enough to have a real impact. Conservational laws in economics are important to regulate how people manage these xeriscaping, filtration, and desalination businesses and make sure that those companies are focused on improving water scarcity rather than neglecting the problem to make money. In the long term, my solution will be more beneficial. Thus, conservational laws serve as a prerequisite to my team members' proposals. Locally, a green club in my high school will foster support for the water laws in the United States through scarcity-themed competitions. Globally, I will organize a team that will receive funding to travel the world and help the disadvantaged vote put conservation laws in place. In the United States, there is a belief that the solution to water scarcity is to turn down faucets and reduce the amount of water used every day. However, this is not a permanent solution for water scarcity, as the majority of water is used up in the agribusiness center of the United States. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, up to 90% of consumptive water in America is used in agriculture. These effects could be detrimental in the environment if US farming companies overuse water. In this graph, notice how the yellow portion of the United States has less water than the rest. Since the population is increasing, this imbalance will also inevitably increase. Economically, it would be advantageous for companies to have conservational plans for their future. As water is such an important resource to create new products, companies that follow the conservational path would see a long-term positive impact in their production. They would also keep their green customers happy, resulting in more customers. Politically, the solution may not seem viable in the United States, since the government is in control of the Republican Party, which does not favor conservation. However, Zhu of Red, Green, and Blue reports that Republicans are 4% more convinced that climate change is occurring. This is due to the growing young generations of Americans that believe in global problems and are therefore more willing to invest in them. Next, in Germany, Dr. Kirsten Manzel finds that around 77% of total imports of blue water are attributed to imports of crop products. This suggests that Germany's reliance on crops and livestock would be affected if their water supply was in danger. The issue should be more emphasized, especially when of the 9 European countries that can be considered water stressed, Germany is one of them, says the European Environmental Agency. As seen in this graph, the red parts of Europe are the main importers of virtual water, which suggests that Germany is using their water supply much too freely and it could affect their supply in the future. Politically, water conservation has been growing since the government has become more diverse in their actions. According to the World Affairs Journal, in 2009, the party received its best election results yet, winning 10.7% of the vote. The rise of the Green Party is important to implement more conservational laws as the public begins to support them. Public support means public awareness, something that is pivotal in the solution for water scarcity. This would especially be beneficial for Germany, whose enterprises must face how the growing water risk could create billions in losses for German companies, according to Nicole Sagner, a writer for Euractiv. Another country that should be discussed is Mexico. Mexico would be most improved by water conservation laws since its water footprint is 73% agricultural, covering more than 100,000 cubic hectometers of water, as AgroDare informs. Also from this graph, it is clear that of all the factors shown, agriculture plays the biggest role in Mexico's water footprint. The environmental impact in Mexico has been noticed in its lack of clean water. The horrific effects have already been seen in Mexico when 55 tons of dead fish washed up in a lake in Jalisco, Mexico. Jalisco's Secretary for the Environment, Maria Mejia, asserts that this phenomenon is caused by the poor management of the body of water. Financially, conservational laws will help control budget. Mexico has spent $2.8 billion on water conservation since 1990, but still suffers from a clean water crisis. Elizabeth Malkin of the New York Times says that families have been so desperate for clean hydration that they have resorted to bottled water, which consumes 10% of their income. By implementing more legislation that pushes for management of conservational budgets, families will not have to spend as much money on bottles and can then move the economy by spending on different needs. Politically, Michael Wolff of the Washington Post believes that Mexico has some of the best water laws and regulations in the world because of their political support. But the problem is that these laws just aren't enforced. For Mexico, laws centered on regulating how the funds and budgets for conservation should be managed would be optimal. Overall, conservation laws in each country should focus on supervising the funds that are spent to improve water scarcity and setting rules for big corporations that would exacerbate the availability of the water. My local solution would involve making a club at my local high school, Cypress Bay. In this club, members will attend political green rallies and visit other high schools to support conservational laws involving water specifically. However, this club will promote the importance of water scarcity at school by creating poems that will be posted on the school's social media networks. These poems will be written by members, and by holding competitions, we would incentivize more students to participate. As the incentives grow, the competition will also gain popularity and eventually reach a national level. This would increase awareness and support. Allowing laws to be passed begins with citizens at a local level. To implement this solution globally, we must target the core cause. The main reason people in certain countries might not vote is for the difficulties with transportation, money, or convenience. By forming an organization with the support of and some funding of the International Foundation for Electoral Systems, I will form a team that will help in countries like Mexico, where their investment of electoral rights is minimal. From these funds, my team will travel around the globe to help the disadvantaged citizens. We will provide monetary aid and physically help them by providing buses to take people to vote while advocating for the necessary laws to improve water scarcity. By increasing the voter turnout for conservational topics, regulations on water scarcity can be implemented. Although conservational laws do not solve every aspect of water scarcity, they ensure a long-term foundation for the country to rely on to tackle the political, economic, and environmental aspects of water. My solution is the best because it is long-term, and it will stay with the country for as long as it survives. With this, I also support and call for more research to be done on this crucial subject for the human race to thrive. Thank you, fellow team members. Thank you, classmates. Thank you, Cambridge, for offering a unique opportunity to present forth my ideas. Here are my sources.